welcome to Crafting with Nana. I've been experimenting with different types of masks and different types of filters. These are refill filters that go in a painter's mask. Very, very effective, but no one wants to walk around with one of these. So I had my husband pick up just a regular furnace filter. This is a pretty high rated one. It has an FPR of 10, so it's going to keep out allergens and virus carriers, it says. So we're going to experiment a little bit with that. The regular masks that fit over our faces leave a lot of gaps, and so it doesn't hold your filter material tight to your face. So there's a lot of great designs out there, and so whatever is comfortable for you, I'm hoping that you're using. But I wanted to come up with something that was a little more comfortable for me and maybe a little easier for the little kids to wear and for the moms to have, so on hand whenever they're out and about. So I'm hoping you've all seen these. They're the kind of things that bikers wear. You can wear them. We wear them when we're riding our Can-Am, and they're just a circular tube. And you can fit it over your head like this and just wear it like a scarf. The problem is when you pull it up, if you have a filter material inside here, it doesn't stay in place. So as I was out and about this week, I put a filter piece in. I actually slipped one of these just in, and I was constantly having to rearrange it to keep it over my face. But I did like the way it fit tightly around my face. So let's get started. So the first thing that we're going to do with our filter is go ahead and disassemble it. You can see inside it's a material that is housed. It's a pleated material that is kept in place by the cardboard covering. It's got some wires on it here. I have some regular scissors. I think I can just cut right through that. Okay, so without any trouble, I've been able to go ahead and cut that filter out of the cardboard encasing it. Now the wire could be a little problematic, but let's see. Looks like you can pull the filtering right off of that wire. So that's what we're going to do, is just pull it away from the wire. And all I did, folks, was cut a strip. So the last part was a little bit harder to get off, but I just have a kind of a crooked strip there. I'm just going to fold it together. And I'm going to, there's a side that's rougher and a side that's softer. And I'm going to fold it with the softer side to the outside, and I just made a little square. So what I'll do now is just slide that little square into the pocket that I'm going to make on my scarf. What you'll need is some stretchy material, preferably something with spandex in it. I have some on order. I had just cleaned out my sewing room when all of this started, so I threw away all my t-shirt material. Anyway, something with spandex. So I went through my drawers, and I had these little tops that I really don't ever wear under my other clothes anymore, but I've hung on to them, and so I'm sure that you have something similar at home. This only has 5% spandex in it, and it works just fine. So any material that you have at home that just has some of that spandex in it to give it that extra tight stretch will help it be tight enough on your face or your children's face. What I'm creating is a sleeve out of my material with a pocket, and that pocket will make it so that your protective material can slide right inside that pocket. The other thing I'm adding is a piece of pipe cleaner, and that just holds it right across the tip of your nose. Again, I was thinking of little hands and things that you could put on them that would be more comfortable and easier for them to keep up in place. So what you're going to need for this project is your stretchy material. I want you to I dropped my tape measure. You need to take a measurement around your neck. Whatever that measurement is, add 2.5 inches to that because you want to be able to slide it over your head easily. So 10 inches wide by your neck size plus 2.5 inches. That gives you room for the seam. You'll need a 4 by 5 inch piece of cotton and a 4-inch pipe cleaner, and that's it. I'm going to use my serger, but you certainly can use a regular sewing machine and just do a zigzag stitch, because the reason you want a zigzag or a serger is it gives that extra ability to stretch more than a straight stitch does. So to put my pocket on, I'll certainly be using a straight stitch on my regular machine. But when I come to make that sleeve and finish that up, I'll be using my serger. The first thing that you're going to do is lay out your material. And again, I'm just cutting up an old shirt, but I want to make certain that I have 15 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and just cut it up the center. For me, I should say, mine is going to be 15.5 inches. So I'm going to cut it up the center. And the other thing that I want to do is I want to cut around all of the seams, not the side seams if I have to cut it bigger than the front or back of the material. If I have to go the whole length of my material, we'll straighten it up when we're done. But we want to get the seams cut off because they will inhibit the stretch. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut the top half of my garment apart. This part can be thrown away. Now I have a long piece of fabric that I will cut to the appropriate size. Before I do that, I want to go ahead and clip off the edge at the bottom because again, it has a straight stitch on it and that will inhibit the stretch of my material when I'm done. Go ahead and cut that off and throw it away. Okay, I am left with a length of material. It does have 2 side seams in it, but for a little one, you might not, if you're cutting up a garment, you may only need to use like the front or the back. If it's for an adult, you might have to use more. So the first thing that you're going to do is straighten up your edges. And I'm just going to go work off of one side. One thing I've noticed is when you're out, no one really cares what your mask looks like. So this doesn't have to be absolute perfection. The nice thing about this type of material is that it's not going to need a bottom or top hem. And of course, trying to straighten up my edges so that I have some straight lines to work with. Okay, so you can see that this part is straightened on 3 sides. I'm going to go ahead and measure it to the length that I need, which in my case, it's going to be 15.5 inches. Now you can go ahead and make it a little bit longer. You can go a complete 3 inches if you want to take a wider hem or a wider seam on it. But if you're going to use just a really small zigzag stitch, then 2.5 inches ought to be fine. Okay, so I've got my length of fabric. I'm going to find the center and I'm going to mark that. I just went ahead and cut mine 16 inches just to make it easier for my brain. So I've got 16 inches. I'm going to mark the center at 8 inches. And then I'm going to go down and mark it 1/2 inch below that. Actually, we're going to make it 3/4 of an inch. I'm going to mark it 3/4 of an inch below that. That is going to be where I'm going to center my pocket. So my pocket will be made out of just a piece of cotton. I'm going to make it 4 by 5. So 4 inches by 5 inches. Doesn't have to be really large. So once we have our material marked, we're just going to lay wrong side up and wrong sides together. At least I am, because I like the fun little pattern to be something I can see. So we're going to sew along 3 sides of that, leaving the top piece open. I'm just going to sew close to the edge. I've sewn my pocket on, and now I'm just going to fold down the top till it's right at the top of my pocket. So the edge of the material is going to meet the top of my pocket, and I'm going to put a small stitch in there without catching the pocket. So I'm going to go all along the pocket top without catching any piece of the pocket. So when I'm done, I have a folded piece of fabric, but my pocket is still open. I made the little pocket, and again, it's right at the top. My seam line is coming right down to the top of my pocket. And I'm just sliding my pipe cleaner through that opening. Not super easy to do. You can certainly leave a bigger amount turned down if you want. But the main thing is that you want the center of your pipe cleaner to be at the center of the top of your pocket. All right, so I have my pipe cleaner in there. I have my pocket with the opening at the top right below my pipe cleaner. Now I'm going to just flip right sides together and do a small serger seam along that edge. Again, if you don't have a serger, you can certainly use a zigzag stitch on your sewing machine. And that's all there is to it. I should be able to easily slip this over my head now. No need to hem anything. The nice thing about this material is it's not going to fray. You're not going to have the need for a hem at the bottom or the top. And even if you did, it would hinder your stretch. So you really don't want to. You just want to leave it as is. You've got your pocket material right here. And go ahead and slide in whatever you're using for a filter. If you don't have access to furnace filters, my son and I were talking, you could take material and just turn it one way, make a patch by turning the second piece of material the opposite way so that your threads kind of crosshatch with each other. That also will keep out a lot more than if it was just straight material. So I have my filter in the pocket. So from the outside, this is what it looks like. Just slip it on over your head. It will mess your hair up. Bring it up and then pinch that pipe cleaner closed, and you are ready. Then when you're back in the car and you feel safe, you just slide it down, it's out of the way. I hope that you've enjoyed this video, and I hope that this is an easier mask, maybe for your little ones, than the ones with the elastic. I know that they just kind of hurt after a while. So A different kind of mask, if it works for you, great. If you like the other tutorials out there, use them. But overall, be safe. And I'll see you next time on Crafting with Nana. Bye.